Global News is now projecting a united Conservative Party majority government for the first time. We can see on the screen we have UCP headquarters there. People are jumping up and down and starting to celebrate as we are projecting a majority UCP government tonight. We want to go right to Joel Senek, who is at headquarters to gauge early reaction of this big call tonight to change in government.
UCP chants that are going on behind me. People cheering, people clapping. Obviously, we're making that projection now. A Conservative majority government, an electric mood here at UCP headquarters in Calgary. And this is now where Jason Kenney, the next Premier of Alberta, will give his victory speech on the stage behind me right now. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen. Convention says Rachel Notley will speak first if she delivers a concession speech. But I can tell you, Gordon, Linda, people here, they're excited to get this party started.
All right, well, it's thanks, Joel, for that. Well, it's certainly a different mood down at NDP headquarters. Let's go to Tom Byrne, he's standing by there. Tom.
Well, I mean, we had it on the screen in the room here, and obviously a lot of long faces here, not a lot of cheering, a lot of people kind of standing around talking to each other. Just asked a senior advisor with the NDP, you know, we're calling this. What do you make of this? Are you still confident that maybe you have a path to victory? And they said, look, we were still confident in the last few days that there was a path to victory here, but you could see it in the room here. Obviously, it's very quiet. Think back to 4 years ago, how much excitement there was, how early in the night, how busy the room was. Well, not the case here tonight. So obviously a change in government is what we are calling. People here are not very happy about that. We expect to see some of the candidates filtering in over the next little while, getting some reaction on what they think and their new role as opposition members. They're going to still be the largest NDP opposition, likely, if it keeps going the way that the polls show. So there'll be a lot of members there, but obviously a different role than they've had in the past 4 years. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Tom. Well, it sounds like
we have another breaking news announcement to make. Calgary Lougheed, the new Premier-elect of Alberta, has been elected in his seat. And David, we have seen before where sometimes the leader of a party doesn't get their own seat.
But not in this case.
Not in this case. And I think everybody knew that Jason Kenney was going to win in Lougheed. And that the UCP, they're at 44 leading and elected right now, NDP at 18. I think the good news for Alberta politics is there's going to be a strong opposition. At 18, they're likely to get some more seats. The UCP is going to get to put its plan in action. And we know that Jason Kenney has promised the summer of repeal. And I'm sure when he gives his speech, he'll be talking about how that's going to go.
Absolutely. And for our radio listeners, if you're just tuning in now, Global News projecting UCP majority government. Let's head over to, for the big picture, we're going to throw it to Jennifer right now. Jennifer, what's new?
Well, UCP majority government for one thing, Gordon. We're taking a look at our big map here, and for radio listeners, we'll outline this for you. Pretty much all UCP blue at this point when you're looking at the leading and elected seats that have lit themselves up on our map here. The province awash in blue. So the path to power, how did they do it? Those rural ridings in smaller cities, there are 34 seats up for grabs there. Edmonton, it went pretty much all NDP last time, Greater Edmonton and the city itself. Now, a lot of NDP seats there so far, leaning and elected. We'll see what the UCP picks up there and what that means for an NDP opposition. Heading on down to southern Alberta. We knew the UCP had to pick up 2 of the 3, and this is where battleground Calgary was key. A couple of tiny islands of blue in the middle of that's Calgary Mountain View, where Kathleen Ganley is hoping to unseat the Liberal leader, and that's Calgary Buffalo, Joe Ceci. Other than that, all the ridings where we are seeing leading and elected so far are UCP blue. What we're not seeing on any of these maps so far, those smaller parties, the Alberta Party, the FCP. So we'll be keeping an eye out for those as well. Guys?
Thanks, Jen. Well, it's no surprise where all of our panelists sit in this tonight, so we want to go back down to UCP headquarters to get some reaction.
Yeah, thanks, Gordon, Linda. We know that we made the call of a UCP majority win at 8:36 p.m. tonight, just to beat the NDP majority call at 8:38 p.m. in 2015. So it seems quick. There you go. About the same amount of time. Danielle, you are still watching a lot right now.
When we decide, right? I guess what I would say is the real problem that we have from a provincial unity point of view that I'm seeing right now is it doesn't look like the UCP are getting any breakthrough seats in Edmonton. And I don't know if Edmonton is feeling a little anxiety about that, because they may be remembering what happened when that occurred before under Ralph Klein, is when cuts had to happen, they believe that they ended up shouldering a greater share of those cuts. This may be why it is they went NDP. NDP was promising to maintain support for the public service, but I think we have a better governed province when you have a majority government that has representation in both of our major cities. I'm not seeing it doesn't look like the UCP is getting on the board there.
No, the path for power was through rural Alberta. There's 41 seats in rural Alberta, and it looks like they're winning 37, 38 of those. Then you win 8 or 10, that's where you get the number. But right now, they're looking to be almost shut out of Edmonton, and we still have half of the Calgary numbers not to come in. This could be a governing problem if you're seen as a rural party in an urban province.
What problems do you see going forward?
Well, I mean, I think it's just what these two are talking about, and that's the sense that people feel well represented. I will say this, though, if you felt that Edmonton was inclined to be more favorable to the NDP or vice versa at a time where the NDP had, 4 seats or fewer than that, this is at least a decent opposition. We're keeping an eye on how the numbers are moving, but once you're at 15 to 20 plus, you're talking about a significant voice in the Alberta legislature. I'm not sure if we're getting ahead of ourselves right now, though.
Well, and a lot of ministers. I mean, this will be the most significant political opposition we've ever seen. So a big victory for the UCP, but they're going to be up against an NDP that's going to be consolidated regionally with government experience on the back bench.
And Jason Kenney can't take Calgary for granted because they are some big names in Calgary that are leading right now. Joe Zisi, you've got also Ricardo Miranda, who is also a cabinet minister as well, and so you're going to have a solid core.
Yeah, Ganley looks all right there.
Ganley's, does. She looks like she's. It doesn't look like David Cohn is going to win in that riding. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping for a Liberal breakthrough, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But to have solid cabinet ministers and cabinet representation in Calgary, he's got to be thinking about how he's going to position himself to the next election, because by maintaining that base in Calgary, they can grow from there.
One of the things we also have to comment on quickly is the fact that we're keeping a keen eye on Calgary Albo, and right now, despite the fact that he pulled out of the debates, despite the fact that he stopped showing up at events he said he would, Doug Schweitzer leading there to the detriment of Greg Clark, who's currently polling 3rd for the Alberta Party.
Which is a surprise to a lot of people for sure. We are out of time here. Gordon, Linda, we'll toss it back to you.